All right, everybody, it's your boy Uncle Ed. Now everybody's calling me Uncle Ed since my last video that I did from the heart. So today we're going to go again. We're going to do something a little bit different. Today I have the very distinct pleasure of interviewing my friend and my client Gagan. The reason why I have him here is because this is a man who embodies overcoming fear and just activating his courage to take action in a time when a lot of people are just standing still. We're all like deer caught in headlights. And I think there is a difference between being cautious and being paralyzed. We all know, remember everybody, and I'm going to age myself here a little bit. Remember Y2K? When the whole world was going to come to a complete halt, planet Earth was going to stop spinning because all the computers were going to shut down. That never happened. And then in 2001, we had the first dot bomb. Then we had 2008, where there was that real estate catastrophe. All the lenders were going out of business. I even remember there was a website called mortgageimplosion.com where it was literally a ticker where you would see second by second all the companies that were going out of business in the mortgage industry. It was absolute insanity. Everybody remembers either you or somebody you know or both lost properties. Remember the age of doing loan modifications and short sales and foreclosures and all these things, right? Property values going down by 40%. It was, or 60 in some cases. It was atrocious. But here's what I know about the human spirit. We are very resilient. And the truth of the matter is that everything goes in cycles, folks. And even right now, we're starting to see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. And by the way, that light is not an oncoming train. It's good light that's coming. We're starting to see things like inflation coming down. Today, Friday, which is September 1st. Can you imagine how quickly this year's going by? August gone. Look, we're already in September 2023, folks. And we saw the BLS numbers, which is the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The numbers came in a lot lower than we thought, right? So it's not as robust as people think as far as employment, which is good for inflation. So inflation is coming down. What does that mean at the end of the day? That I'm hoping that, and I know hope is not a great strategy, and I say this all the time, but when I say hope, I mean hope plus metrics, meaning data, right? That the Fed, and particularly Chairman Powell, maybe will do one more rate hike and that's it, if that. I do believe still that rates will come back down into the mid fives within 12 to 14 months, around there. Nobody has a crystal ball, and certainly I don't. But reading the tea leaves that I do have, I believe that that's going to happen. And let me tell you something. And this man, again, we're going to have a conversation here really quickly, but he didn't allow the rates to get in the way of buying his first investment property. He didn't let all this noise get in the way because he knows that eventually he's going to refinance, but he's going to refinance something. If you don't have a property, there's nothing to refinance into a lower rate. And by the time rates come back down to the fives, everybody's going to jump in, which means overbidding, multiple offers, prices going through the roof. That cycle, please hear Uncle Ed closely. It's coming, and it's going to come as fast as this year has gone, very quickly. So on that note, Gagan, thank you so much, man, for getting on here. I really appreciate it, man. And just working with you was so eye-opening. So first off, tell us who you are. Where are you originally from? I know you live here in California now, but where are you originally from, and what do you do for a living, that sort of thing? Tell us a little bit about Gagan.
For sure. Yeah, so I'm Gagan. I actually come from India. I moved to the US about close to 10 years now. I came for my master's in the US, and I first went to East Coast, stayed there for a couple of years, did my master's program, and then I moved to the Bay Area for my first job. Um, and ever since, I've been in this area, and I always wanted to understand what exactly is American Dream, because I didn't really came for that. I just came for just I was interested in something in tech, and I just came for that, and I didn't know what American Dream was actually. So after coming here, it's like twisted things all over the place. Like some people say this is what it is, some people say that's the thing. But
Sure.
I think, just getting to work on things you love the most is the dream. It could be American, it could be Indian, it could be any country. But yeah, um, ever since I worked in tech, I felt that the market can go up and down, right? Today tech is booming, tomorrow tech might not be booming. Day after tomorrow, something else might be up there. So I always wanted to hedge towards it. You always want to hedge towards like something that can uh, not sustain the value of time, like
Mm.
inflation, right? So similar to that, your money is not going to make itself. You have to make something out of it. So I think that's the reason why I started looking into real estate and all these options and like investing. I started with investing and then finally into real estate. But that's how I actually went down to exploring more about the options. Yeah.
I love how here you have your original dream is just to go get advanced education. So you come to the US. And I got to believe, I mean, did you have a little bit of fear when you decided I'm going to leave India, which is what I know, to go to this foreign land, even though, of course, the world paints the US as the land of milk and honey, and there's, every lake is filled with the best wine ever, right? There's all these concepts about the US, but did you have any kind of fear coming
Uh,
to the US?
I was having some apprehensions, but not a lot of fear because I started living on my own early, basically after my college, basically from my bachelor's itself. So I left home around like 17, 18, and then ever since I was outside living far away, back in India itself. So
Yeah.
it was less of a transition for me, because since
Okay.
you're out of home, you could be anywhere in the world. It doesn't really make any difference. But I do miss going back easily. Now it's like 21 hours flight one way. Just,
Wow.
yeah, go back to India.
Yeah, it's
But
brutal.
I do miss.
So you've had always this in your blood taking some calculated risks. Where's that come from, Gagan? Are your parents that way? Are they entrepreneurs? Have they taken risks?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think it. I think I've seen my dad take risk in certain way. So he actually owned he did he did his college and his like education in law. So he had a good understanding of law back in India, but then he didn't really practice too much because of some private family issues, and he had to like jump into business owned by family and then just continue that. So I've seen him like grow that business, do multiple side businesses while he was doing that main business. So I think that's where I understood that, you know,
The
like
side hustle power.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, like how exactly to do that and what needs to be done. Although it was all in subconscious mind, I never really actively thought about it too. Uh,
Okay, so you just did it.
yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot to be said about not overthinking things and just allowing the calculated risks to become part of that subconscious and just taking the risk. Because if not, you become the could have, would have, should have person, right? You're always like, oh man, I should have done that then.
yeah.
Because look, in 5 years, everybody who didn't do it are going to wish they did. That's what's going to happen. Not even five, probably three, right? So you go to the East Coast, you come to the United States, go to the East Coast, and then what prompted the decision to come from the East Coast to the West Coast in California?
Interesting question. I actually wasn't planning to come to California, honestly. I got a job at IBM. So I was all set to go to North Carolina, Raleigh. I accepted the offer. Everything was done. And like Monday, I had to start working. And then on Friday, like a week before, Friday, like 3 days before, I was at home. I was interviewing for a company in Bay Area, and then it wasn't a big company, but I was just interviewing because that had interesting work, which I found was like really good. So they gave me an offer on Friday, saying that can you join next week? And I said I have a job offer with IBM and so on and so forth. So that person who was interviewing me convinced me otherwise to not join IBM. And
Wow.
and then I did not join IBM. I was so happy I got that offer and the job that I liked. I forgot to send an email to IBM. I actually did send them on weekend, but they saw it on Monday. And my manager had no idea. She was expecting me downstairs, and she's like, "Oh, where are you?" I'm like, "I quit because because of some other issues." So like, I just made something up. So I didn't go there. So I think that one decision changed my life completely. Uh,
Wow. Okay, so
yeah,
hold on a second, 'cause this is like a side story here. We'll get to the real estate in here in a second. So you decide to join a basically no-name company
yeah,
and not join Big Blue IBM. I mean, most people, Gan, would think that you were absolutely insane, that you lost your mind. Do you need psychiatric help? Right? When somebody turns down IBM to go to a no-name company clear across the country, and for you, you don't know the difference because you've never been.
yeah.
So talk about layering risk and also layering courage, quite frankly, to take things to a whole new level. And this changes your whole life. And when I'm sure that when you're saying that, you're saying it for the better, obviously, right? Because now
Yeah.
you're in California, you've been here for a while, and here we are. So let's talk about the day that you decide, you know what, I'm going to buy my first investment property, even if I don't have a primary residence. I thought that that was huge because most people have it in their brain that steps, right? No, I first have to do this in order to
Yeah,
do
yeah,
this. Well, no, you don't, folks.
yeah.
You can rent and still own rental property. Here's a case in point. So, talk to me a little bit about that day where you decide in your mind, you know what, I'm going to make the decision to go ahead and seek good opportunities to buy a rental and still rent and later buy my primary residence.
Yeah, yeah, there's multiple factors to it. A lot of reading, a lot of research basically comes onto it. And honestly, like bigger part is good luck. Like sometimes you just need to be lucky in some way or the other to have met certain people like you, the few other people that I've met online, and read uh, all these investing techniques from them. But the reason why I thought of actually implementing this, like actually going ahead with buying a property while being on rent, was that I started to run some numbers where, let's say you live in California, right? And this case is biased towards California because California is heavily, uh, like it's pretty expensive to like own a property in here. So I was thinking, so let's get down to the basics. Where how much money do you have, which you earn per month? Let's say you earn X, like $5 per month, and you spend $2 on rent. And then I was like, okay, can I spend that amount for mortgage? Is that enough that I spend, like the amount I spend for rent, is it enough to cover a mortgage in California or not? The answer was no, because it was like almost 2 times more than the rent. So then the question was, if it's 2 times more than the rent, then basically I have less money left, which I can use. And I didn't have that money because if I would have gone buying a home in California right away, I wouldn't have enough money left for my day to day. And I got married and had like multiple things. But the idea to like hedge remained, right? Yes, California might not be the place, but you can hedge your money somewhere else. So then the point was like, if I keep the money I have to invest, like I have kept over to invest with my bank account, is not going to give me any interest, maybe 5% interest, right? So that's not enough. So then the point was like, can I invest that money somewhere else while I stay on rent? And then basically the research started where it could be investing in stocks, investing in real estate. And that's why I thought I just need to find a place where the amount I have can match the rent which I will get from that place. For example, if I own a property, can that property rent cover the mortgage? If it does cover the mortgage, that's all I need, because interest, like the mortgage is going to remain the same for the next X number of years, but rent probably will increase over time. So that delta, which is increases over time, basically is going to help me pay off the mortgage faster, right? So that was the idea. Like I just want to have a place where I can start, you know, and California wasn't a place to start because people were already ahead of me, and then it's all about like just find a place where you can start your game and then let it automatically run for you. It could be
That's
any.
exactly right. Yeah,
Yeah,
and the big lesson here, folks, is just do it anyway. Start, do your homework, which he did. Get yourself a really good team, which he did. activate your courage, which he did, and don't think that California is the end all. It's not. That's why there's 50 states. There's opportunities everywhere. You have to do some research. And again, you get a team also that helps you, right? Because you don't want to go at it alone. You want to have a team of professionals that are pros at what they do. And you take some calculated risk. Notice that I did still put the word risk in there. There's risk to everything. Are you kidding me? You leaving this morning out of your house was risky. You don't know, particularly if you're here in San Francisco with all the craziness that's going on here. It's gotten riskier, but we still do it. You take calculated risk. And I think this is the reason why I wanted Gagan to talk, because if you notice, this is just a different way of slicing and baking your own cake, right? But go get cake. It's important. It's important that you do something because time is going by so fast. You want to put your money to work. And this is going to provide him not only, of course, increased rents, but it's going to give him equity, right? Because over time, this property is going up, and then it's going to give him some tax write-offs as well. Very, very important. And later on, he'll buy a primary residence, but at least he's an investor now. And notice, I'm going to say this. Look, how about all of us who either were born here or already Americans? Sometimes I think we overlook all the blessings that we have. There's no excuses. We've been here. Go and take advantage of the reason why people come to this country from all over the world. It's called opportunity, but you will not have it unless you activate it. So Gagan, thank you so much for talking about this, because again, I want through you to give permission to people to dream and to make things happen. We're coming towards the end of 2023. Have a plan, create your team. For those of you watching, look, my consultations are always free. There's no obligation. There's no cost. Call me. Let's talk. Let's walk this out. You and I, Gagan, had so many conversations every single step. I was there right by you, and we talked everything out. There was really very little left to the imagination and to huge risk. That's not the way we operate. So give me a call. Let's talk, and let's put a game plan together. And if you can't do it today, let me help you win tomorrow. But do something, and let's get a meeting on the books. And again, thank you so much, Gagan. So guess what? Congratulations. You are the living American dream, my friend. This is the definition. So,
Yes.
And by the way, it's not just the American dream. We say that as Americans, but the reality is this is a global dream. Everybody wants, pretty much we all want the same things. We all want to be happy, we want to be loved, appreciated, want to feel like we fit in. We want to feel like our life means something, have legacy, have purpose, leave something so that when we're gone, we leave something for our next generation. It's all the same. We're all human beings. We all have red blood. Thanks again, man. Happy Labor Day weekend. Totally appreciate you. And let's go see about the next one at some point, because I know you're going to build a portfolio with time. All in good time. Thanks again, Gagan. Have a great day.